The leather-bound contract still had that intoxicating new paper smell when I noticed the first discrepancy. Just a tiny anomaly buried in the quarterly financials. The kind of thing that would have slipped past anyone who hadn't built this company from the ground up. But I had, and something felt wrong. "Ruby, can you pull the subsidiary reports from last quarter?" I called out to my assistant. The familiar click of her heels approached my office door. "Of course, Angela. Anything specific you're looking for?" I rubbed my temples, trying to pin down the nagging sensation. Just a hunch. And maybe grab Emma if she's free. She should see this too. The mention of Emma brought an automatic smile. 15 years of friendship and partnership did that. We'd gone from sharing ramen noodles in a cramped apartment to sharing boardrooms in our own tech empire. She was the sister I never had, the one person I trusted completely. Ruby returned with the files, but no Emma. "She's in meetings off-site all day. Want me to try her cell?" "No, it's fine." I waved her off, already diving into the papers. The numbers swam before my eyes until suddenly, there. A series of transfers to an offshore account I didn't recognize. Small enough to fly under the radar individually, but together they painted a devastating picture. My hands started shaking as I pulled up more records. With each click, each spreadsheet, the truth became clearer. Someone had been systematically siphoning funds and intellectual property for months. Someone with high-level access. Someone who knew exactly how to cover their tracks. Someone like my CFO and best friend. "This can't be right," I whispered to my empty office. But the evidence was there in cold, unfeeling digits. Emma's digital fingerprints were all over it. I grabbed my phone, dialing her number, straight to voicemail. Again. My heart pounded harder with each unanswered ring. "Ruby!" My voice cracked. "Cancel my afternoon and get me everything you can find on Vertex Global Holdings." The name had appeared repeatedly in the transfer records. A quick search revealed it was a shell company registered just 6 months ago, the kind of entity perfect for hiding assets or preparing for a hostile takeover. I stormed through the office toward Emma's corner suite, ignoring concerned looks from my employees. The door was locked. Through the glass walls, I could see her desk was cleared. Not just cleared, stripped bare. No photos, no laptop, no trace of the woman who'd stood beside me through every triumph and setback for over a decade. "She left early this morning," her assistant said quietly. "Took a few boxes, said she was reorganizing. Reorganizing. The word hit like a slap. I pressed my forehead against the cool glass, feeling my world tilt on its axis. All those late-night strategy sessions, all those celebrations, all those secrets shared, had they meant nothing? Or worse, had they been ammunition she'd been storing all along? My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "Check your email." The message waiting in my inbox was from our biggest competitor's legal team. My hands trembled as I read the first line. "Regarding the pending acquisition of majority shares." The room spun. Emma hadn't just betrayed me, she'd sold me out. She'd handed over everything we'd built together to our rivals, probably for a golden parachute and a cushy new position. While I'd been planning our next expansion, she'd been planning my execution. I sank into her abandoned chair, the leather still warm. On her desk, a single post-it note remained stuck to the surface. In her familiar looping handwriting were 3 words that made my blood run cold. "Sorry, old friend." I crumpled the note in my fist, a strange calm settling over me. Emma thought she knew me, my strengths, my weaknesses, every vulnerability she could exploit. But she'd forgotten the most important thing. I hadn't clawed my way up from nothing by playing nice. I'd done it by being smarter, faster, and more ruthless than anyone expected. She wanted to play hardball? Fine. I'd show her exactly what I'd learned in 15 years of building an empire, and this time I wouldn't make the mistake of trusting anyone. I pulled out my phone again, scrolling to a number I'd hoped never to use. It rang twice before a familiar voice answered. "Daria, it's Angela. Remember that favor you owe me? I'm calling it in. How quickly can you meet?" The game was on, and I intended to win. Monday morning hit like a hangover, though I hadn't touched a drop. The office felt different, colder somehow, as if Emma's betrayal had physically altered the air. I'd spent the weekend digging through files until my eyes burned, each discovery another twist of the knife. "Your 9 a.m. is here," Ruby announced, hovering in my doorway. The concern in her eyes made me want to scream. I didn't need pity. I needed answers. "Send them in." I straightened my spine, adjusted my blazer. Show no weakness. That's what Daria had drilled into me years ago when I was just starting out. The corporate lawyers filed in, all crisp suits and carefully neutral expressions. I let them talk, watching their lips move as they outlined the irregularities they'd discovered. As if I hadn't spent the weekend mapping out every single one of Emma's moves. "And when exactly did these concerns first arise?" I interrupted, my voice steady despite the rage churning in my gut. The lead attorney shuffled his papers. The board received an anonymous tip approximately 3 months ago. 3 months. The words echoed in my head like a gunshot. While I'd been planning our European expansion, while I'd been sharing Sunday brunches with Emma and her husband, while I'd been confiding my fears about the upcoming merger, she'd already sold me out. "That will be all," I cut him off. "My team will review your findings." The moment they left, I was on my phone. "Get me everything on Emma's activities for the past 6 months. Calendar, emails, phone records, everything." "Already on it," Ruby replied. "But, Angela, there's something else you should see." She appeared moments later with a manila folder. Inside was a series of photos, surveillance shots from a high-end restaurant downtown. Emma, sitting across from Greta Watson, CEO of our biggest competitor. The timestamp was from 4 months ago. My coffee mug shattered against the wall before I even realized I'd thrown it. "Clean that up," I snapped, then immediately softened. "I'm sorry, Ruby. That wasn't... Just leave it. Please." I needed air. The walls were closing in, every corner holding memories of late-night strategy sessions with Emma, celebrations, shared dreams. I grabbed my coat and headed for the roof. The bitter winter wind cut through me as I paced the perimeter. My phone buzzed. Eduardo probably checking in again. I ignored it. How could I face my husband when I felt this stupid, this blind? "I thought I'd find you up here." I spun around. Emma stood by the access door looking exactly as she had a week ago when we'd shared lunch and laughed about the new intern's disaster presentation. "Get out." My voice was ice. "Angela, please, just let me explain." "Explain what?" I stepped closer, fury burning away the cold. "How you spent months feeding information to Greta. How you structured those offshore accounts to hide the evidence. Or maybe explain how you sat in my home, drank my wine, and planned my downfall." It wasn't personal. "Bullshit!" The word exploded from me. "You were my best friend, my partner, my..." My voice cracked, and I hated myself for it. "The industry's changing," Emma said softly. "I did what I had to do to survive. You would have done the same." "No." I met her eyes. "I would have fought, like we always did, together." She looked away first. "It's done, Angela. The board votes tomorrow. Just take the settlement offer. Walk away with dignity." I laughed, a harsh sound that scattered in the wind. "You really don't know me at all, do you?" Emma sighed, reaching into her bag. "This is a copy of everything they have on you. Every questionable decision, every grey area we explored building this company. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." The manila envelope landed at my feet. I left it there, stepping closer until we were inches apart. "You want to talk about hard?" I whispered. "You have no idea what hard is. But you will." Something in my voice made her step back. Good. She should be afraid. "Angela, get out of my building. And Emma?" I smiled, the expression feeling foreign on my face. "Give Greta my regards. She'll be hearing from me very soon." As the door clicked shut behind her, I pulled out my phone. Time to call in some favors. "Veronica, it's Angela. Remember that conversation we had about corporate restructuring? I'm ready to discuss details." The wind whipped around me, but I barely felt it. Emma thought she'd written the ending to this story. She was wrong. This was just the beginning. Daria's corner office overlooked the city like a glass-walled war room. 15 years ago, she'd mentored me through my first startup. Now I needed her ruthless clarity more than ever. "You're not thinking straight," she said, sliding a whiskey across her desk. It was barely noon. "Revenge is a luxury you can't afford right now. You need to focus on survival." "I can do both." I left the drink untouched. "Emma didn't just betray me. She left a blueprint for destroying everything I've built. And you're playing right into it." Daria leaned forward. "Think, Angela. Why show her hand now? Why tip you off about the board vote?" The question hit me like a bucket of ice water. I'd been so focused on the betrayal, I hadn't questioned its timing. "Because there's something bigger coming," I whispered. "The board vote is a distraction." "Now you're thinking like a CEO again," Daria smiled. "What does Emma know that could truly hurt you?" My mind raced through years of shared secrets, strategic decisions, ethical grey areas we'd justified in the name of growth. Then it hit me. The Singapore deal. My hands started shaking. "She has proof I knew about the security breach before the acquisition." "Bingo." Daria took a sip of whiskey. "That's enough to trigger a federal investigation. The board vote is just theatre. She's waiting for you to fight it to get messy and public. Then she drops the real bomb." I stood up, pacing the length of her office. "I need to move first. Get ahead of it somehow." "You need to be smart." Daria's voice hardened. "Emma knows your playbook because she helped write it. Every aggressive move you're planning, she's already 10 steps ahead." My phone buzzed, Veronica confirming our meeting. I'd been counting on using her inside knowledge of Greta's company, but now... "Cancel your meeting with Veronica," Daria said, reading my mind. "She's probably Emma's insurance policy." "Then what's left?" The question came out smaller than I intended. "I can't just roll over." "No," Daria stood, moving to the window. "But you need to make them think you are." Understanding dawned. "Play dead until they lower their guard." "Exactly. Take the settlement offer. Make a public statement about pursuing other opportunities. Let Emma think she's won." "While I what? Watch her destroy my company?" "While you do what you do best, build something new. Something they won't see coming until it's too late." I pulled out my phone, cancelling the Veronica meeting. As I did, a text from Eduardo popped up. "Need to talk. Important." "There's one more thing," Daria said quietly. "You need to tell Eduardo everything, now, before Emma does." My stomach dropped. "He doesn't need to be involved. He's your husband. He's already involved." Daria's expression softened. "And if you don't tell him, Emma will. Probably already has her version ready to go." I sank back into my chair, suddenly exhausted. When did business get so personal? Business was always personal, Angela. That's why you're so good at it. Daria returned to her desk. "But right now you need to decide what matters more, winning or winning right." My phone buzzed again, Ruby with an urgent update. The preliminary board vote numbers had leaked. It was worse than we thought. "I need to go." I stood, gathering my things. "Thank you for..." "Don't thank me yet." Daria's eyes were sharp. "Just remember, Emma expects you to fight like a warrior. Maybe it's time to think like a ghost instead." I nodded, heading for the door, then stopped. "The Singapore documents, there might be a way to... remove them from play." "Angela!" Daria's voice carried a warning. "Some lines, once crossed, you can't uncross." "I know." I met her gaze. "But Emma crossed them first." The ride down to the lobby felt endless. My phone kept buzzing. Eduardo, Ruby, board members probably wanting explanations. I ignored them all, my mind racing with possibilities. Emma thought she knew all my moves. She'd seen me fight and win 1,000 times. But she'd never seen me lose on purpose. Never seen me disappear. As I stepped onto the street, a new text arrived from an encrypted number. "Interesting meeting with your mentor. Ready to discuss terms?" My blood ran cold. They were watching me. Had been watching me. Which meant... I pulled up my last message to Veronica. Unsent. Meeting cancelled. Plans changed. My finger hovered over the send button. Then I deleted it, typing instead. Still on for 3 p.m. Bring everything you have. If they were watching, let them watch. Sometimes the best trap is the one your enemy thinks they've already sprung. Rain pelted the windows of the downtown cafe as I waited for Veronica. Each drop felt like another second ticking away on a bomb I couldn't defuse. My coffee had gone cold, untouched. "You look terrible," Veronica said, sliding into the booth. Her designer suit was immaculate despite the downpour. "Though I guess finding out your best friend is a snake will do that. Let's skip the small talk." I pushed a USB drive across the table. "Everything you asked for. Now show me what you have." She smiled, all perfect teeth and calculated charm. "Straight to business. I can see why Emma was worried about you." The casual mention of her name hit like a punch. Was? Past tense? Is. Definitely is. Veronica's smile faltered slightly. "Look, before we continue, are you sure about this? There's no coming back from what I'm about to show you. I thought about Daria's warning about Eduardo's unanswered calls, about the board meeting scheduled for tomorrow morning. Show me." She pulled out her laptop, turning it so we both could see. "Emma's been planning this for over a year. The Singapore deal was just the start. Documents filled the screen. Emails, contracts, meeting minutes. My hands clenched under the table as I read. Emma hadn't just betrayed me. She'd systematically dismantled every safeguard I'd built, every contingency plan. Wait. I pointed to a name buried in one email thread. That's Eduardo's law firm. Keep reading. My stomach lurched as I scanned further. Eduardo's firm had been quietly advising Emma for months, which meant he might not know, Veronica offered, watching my face. Large firms, different partners. Stop. I closed my eyes, forcing down the nausea. Just, what else? She pulled up another document. This is the real bomb. Emma didn't approach Greta. Greta approached her through an intermediary. Someone inside your company. Who? That's the thing. Veronica leaned forward. The intermediary used an encrypted email account, but they slipped up once, sent a message from their personal phone. My phone buzzed. Eduardo again. I silenced it without looking. The timestamp on the message matches your calendar, Veronica continued. You were in Singapore, closing the deal. Only a handful of people had access to that level of information while you were gone. The pieces clicked together. Ruby. Your ever-faithful assistant, Veronica nodded. She's been feeding information to Greta for over a year. Emma was just the final piece. The cafe suddenly felt too small, too exposed. Every face could be watching, reporting back. Even the barista could be. Angela. Veronica's hand covered mine. Breathe. I pulled away, standing abruptly. I need to go. Wait, she grabbed my arm. There's more, something you need to see before tomorrow's board meeting. Let go. It's about Eduardo. He's not just uninvolved, he's been actively. I said let go. My voice could have frozen hell. She released me, raising her hands in surrender. Okay, but take this. She slid a business card across the table. When you're ready to hear the rest, call that number, any time. I pocketed the card without looking at it and walked out into the rain. The cold water felt good, grounding. My phone buzzed again, this time Ruby, probably wondering where I was. Sweet, efficient Ruby, who'd watched me build this company from nothing. Who knew every secret, every weakness. Who'd been playing me all along. I opened my messages, typing quickly. Ruby, need you to move my morning meetings. Taking tomorrow off to prepare for the board vote. Her response was immediate. Of course. Want me to reschedule Eduardo too? No. I smiled grimly. Keep him on the calendar. Time to face the music. I flagged down a taxi, giving an address across town. As we pulled away, I caught a glimpse of Veronica through the cafe window, already on her phone. Reporting to her masters, no doubt. Let them think I was running scared. Let them think they'd broken me. They'd forgotten the most important lesson I'd learned building this company. Sometimes you have to burn everything down to build something stronger from the ashes. I pulled out the business card Veronica had given me. The number wasn't local. Beneath it was a handwritten note. When you're ready to know who really betrayed you first, call me. V. I stared at it for a long moment, then dialed a different number. Daria? Remember how you said some lines can't be uncrossed? I need to know. What if they were crossed long before I knew there were lines at all? Her silence spoke volumes. Finally, come over, now. And Angela, bring everything you have. It's time to go to war. Eduardo was waiting in our kitchen when I got home, a half-empty glass of wine in front of him. The sight was so normal, so domestic, it made my chest ache. Long day? He asked, sliding a fresh glass toward me. I stayed in the doorway studying his familiar face. How many nights had we spent like this, sharing the day's battles over wine? How many secrets had I confided, never suspecting they might travel further than these walls? Your firm has been advising Emma. Not a question, just facts, laid bare like bones. He didn't flinch, didn't deny it, just took another sip of wine. I was going to tell you. When? After tomorrow's board vote? After everything I've built is gone? It's not what you think. He stood, reaching for me. I stepped back. Then explain it. Explain how my husband's law firm has been helping orchestrate my downfall for months, and somehow he knew nothing about it. I knew. His quiet admission stopped me cold. I knew because I'm the one who took the case. The world tilted sideways. I grabbed the doorframe for support. Why? Because someone had to protect you from yourself. He ran a hand through his hair, a nervous tell I'd always found endearing before. You were pushing too hard, taking too many risks. The Singapore deal was just the beginning. So you decided to protect me by helping Emma destroy everything I've built. I decided to protect you by making sure you had a way out when it all came crashing down. His voice rose. Do you think I don't see what this company has done to you? The paranoia, the endless hours, the... Stop. My voice shook. Just stop pretending this was for my own good. Angela, did you know about Ruby too, about how long they've been watching me? Something flickered across his face. Surprise? Fear? Ruby, what are you talking about? A bitter laugh escaped me. God, we're quite a pair, aren't we? Both thinking we knew everything, both being played. My phone buzzed. Daria probably wondering where I was. The screen lit up with a text preview. Don't do anything until... I turned it face down. I need you to leave. What? Eduardo stepped forward. Angel, please. We can figure this out together. Together? The word tasted like ash. You gave up together when you chose her side over mine. There are no sides. This isn't some corporate war. This is our life. No. I met his eyes. This is my life, my company, my fight. And you just became another casualty. He recoiled like I'd slapped him. You don't mean that. I filed the divorce papers this afternoon. The words came out steady, surprising us both. My lawyer will contact yours tomorrow. Angela, wait. I trusted you. My voice cracked. More than Emma. More than anyone. And you betrayed me worse than she did because you did it while sharing my bed. He reached for me again, desperation in his eyes. Everything I did because I love you. I know. I stepped back. That's what makes it unforgivable. My phone buzzed again, an urgent pattern this time. I checked it reflexively. The message made my blood run cold. Emergency board meeting called for tonight. 1 hour. Emma's making her move early. I have to go. I grabbed my coat, still damp from earlier. Where? The board meeting isn't until... I spun back. How did you know about the board meeting? Eduardo's face went blank. Too blank. In that moment, I finally saw what I'd been missing all along. You're not just Emma's lawyer, I whispered. You're her inside track on me, every reaction, every plan I've shared with you. Angel, don't call me that. Ever again. I pulled Veronica's card from my pocket, finally understanding. Goodbye, Eduardo. I dialed as I walked out, not looking back. Veronica, you were right. About everything. Tell me what I need to know. Her voice was grim. It's worse than we thought. Are you somewhere private? I looked back at my house. Our house. One last time. Eduardo watched through the window, phone to his ear, reporting to Emma, no doubt. I will be. And Veronica, whatever line we need to cross, I'm ready. Good, she paused. Because after what I'm about to tell you, there's no going back. I got into my car, starting the engine. Good, because I'm done playing defense. It's time to burn it all down. Behind me, lights began flicking on in the house. Eduardo was making calls, setting wheels in motion. Let him. They thought they'd taken everything from me. They were about to learn that a woman with nothing left to lose is the most dangerous enemy of all. The emergency board meeting room felt like a tomb, all mahogany and muted lighting. I sat alone watching the digital clock tick toward midnight. My laptop glowed with Veronica's revelations, a conspiracy deeper than I'd imagined. The door opened. Ruby entered first, all professional efficiency. The board members are ready, Angela. Should I send them in? I studied her face. This woman who'd been my right hand for years while quietly orchestrating my downfall. Actually, Ruby, I need you to stay. There's something everyone needs to hear. Her smile flickered, just slightly. She touched her phone, probably warning Emma. Perfect. The board filed in, followed by Emma and Greta. Eduardo slipped in last, avoiding my eyes. They all took their seats, vultures at a feast. Thank you all for coming at such short notice, I began, standing. I know some of you had to rearrange your schedules. Let's skip the pleasantries, Emma interrupted. We're here because serious allegations have been raised about your conduct during the Singapore acquisition. I smiled. Funny you should mention Singapore. I pressed a button on my laptop. The wall screen flickered to life, displaying emails and transaction records. These make for interesting reading. The colour drained from Emma's face as she recognised the documents. Beside her, Greta shifted uncomfortably. What exactly are we looking at? One board member asked. Evidence of a conspiracy. I advanced to the next slide. Not my conspiracy, theirs. Emma didn't discover fraud in Singapore. She created it, with help from Ruby and my soon-to-be ex-husband, all to set up this exact moment. Ruby stood abruptly. I should go. Sit down. My voice could have frozen hell. We're just getting to your part. The next slides detailed everything. The careful manipulation of records, the staged evidence, the real money trail leading back to Greta's shell companies. This is absurd, Emma sputtered. These documents are clearly fabricated. Like the ones you planted. I turned to the board. Check your emails. You'll find copies of everything, including sworn statements from some very interesting sources. Phones began buzzing around the table. Eduardo looked like he might be sick. Even if this were true, Greta spoke for the first time. You can't prove. Actually, I can. I nodded to the door. Veronica walked in, followed by two federal agents. Ms. Watson, one agent said, we have some questions about certain offshore transactions. The room erupted into chaos. Emma lunged for her phone, but Veronica was faster, snatching it away. Looking for this? Veronica smiled. Don't worry, we've already copied everything, including your texts with Eduardo about Angela's private conversations. I forced myself not to look at him. This wasn't about personal betrayal anymore. This was business. You're making a mistake, Emma said quietly. Think about what you're doing, Angela. Everyone in this room has dirt on their hands, including you. You're right. I sat down, suddenly tired. I'm not innocent. Building this company, I crossed lines, made compromises, but I never betrayed the people who trusted me. How noble. Her laugh was bitter. And what about the people who trusted them? She gestured to Veronica. Did you even ask why she turned on Greta, what she wants in return? I want what I've earned, Veronica said smoothly. A seat at the table, the real table, not the kiddie version you offered me, Greta. Understanding dawned on Emma's face. This isn't a rescue mission, it's a hostile takeover. It's justice, I corrected, with a side of strategic restructuring. The federal agents were leading Greta out. Board members huddled with their phones, probably calling lawyers. Ruby sat frozen, tears streaming down her face. Angela. Eduardo's voice was barely a whisper. What have you done? What you taught me to do. I finally met his eyes. Protect myself. Emma stood, straightening her jacket. You really think you've won? That you're better than us? Look around. You just burned every bridge you had. No, I smiled, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. I just cleared the ground to build better ones. The door opened again. Daria walked in, radiating authority. I believe this is my cue. Shall we discuss the future of the company, ladies and gentlemen? Emma's face went slack as she finally understood. This hadn't been about revenge. It had been about evolution. Security will escort you out, I told her quietly. All of you. The federal agents have some questions about Singapore, but I'm sure your lawyers can handle that. As they were led away, Daria took the chair at the head of the table. Veronica sat to her right. My new alliance built on mutual interest rather than false friendship. Well, Daria said, opening her laptop. Shall we begin? I looked around the room, at the wreckage of my old life and the foundation of my new one. Yes, let's start with who we're going to be now that we don't have to pretend anymore. The night stretched ahead, full of possibilities, and for the first time in months I felt truly, completely free. Dawn broke over the city as I stood in my office, watching clean-up crews remove Emma's name from the executive parking space. 3 days had passed since the board meeting, each hour bringing new revelations, new battles, new victories. My phone buzzed. Daria. Turn on the news. I flicked on the wall screen just in time to see Emma being led into the federal building in handcuffs. The headline scrolled, Tech executive arrested in international fraud scheme. Ms. Martinez declined to comment, the reporter droned, but sources say she's cooperating with authorities. Of course she was. Emma always knew how to save herself. My office door opened. Veronica entered, tablet in hand. Greta's lawyers reached out. They're ready to deal. No deals. I turned from the window. They wanted to play hardball. Let's show them what that really means. Angela, Veronica hesitated. There's something else. Eduardo's requesting a meeting. Says he has information we need to hear. My chest tightened. About? Hidden accounts in the Caymans. Ones even Emma doesn't know about. I laughed, the sound harsh in the quiet office. Still trying to protect me, even now. Should I set it up? I checked my watch. But not here, the old coffee shop downtown, where this all started. 2 hours later, I sat in the same booth where Veronica had first shown me the truth. Eduardo looked smaller somehow, his designer suit wrinkled, his eyes haunted. You look good, he said softly, all things considered. Amazing what a little righteous vengeance can do for the complexion. I kept my voice level. The accounts? He slid a USB drive across the table. Everything's there. Account numbers, access codes, transaction histories. Emma and Greta had a longer game plan than anyone realized. And you're just sharing this now? Out of the goodness of your heart? I'm sharing it because I was wrong. He met my eyes. Not about wanting to protect you, but about how to do it. I thought saving you from yourself meant controlling you. I forgot who you really are. And who am I, Eduardo? Someone who builds things. Someone who fights clean, even when others fight dirty. He smiled sadly. Someone I should have trusted instead of trying to cage. My phone buzzed. Veronica right on schedule. The FBI just picked up Greta. It's happening. I stood, pocketing the drive. Goodbye, Eduardo. Angela, wait. He grabbed my hand. What they're saying about Emma, about her cooperating. She's going to try to spin this. Make you look like the villain. Let her try. I pulled free. The truth has a way of coming out. As if on cue, the cafe's TV flashed breaking news. Emma sat at a press conference table looking perfectly composed despite everything. Ms. Martinez, a reporter called out, is it true you're claiming Angela orchestrated this whole situation? Emma leaned into the microphone, that familiar confident smile in place. I'm here today to tell the truth about The feed cut out suddenly. When it returned, different footage played. Security videos, recorded meetings, phone calls, Emma and Greta plotting, Ruby passing documents, Eduardo in late-night strategy sessions. My phone lit up with Daria's message. Right on schedule. Veronica's team timed it perfectly. I watched Emma's face crumble as her carefully constructed narrative imploded live on national television. Years of manipulation and betrayal exposed in minutes. You knew. Eduardo's voice was barely a whisper. You knew she'd try this. I knew because it's what I would have done. I turned to him one last time. The difference is, I learned from better players. Outside, my car waited. Veronica sat in the back, typing furiously on her laptop. It's done. The board just voted. Unanimous approval for the restructuring. And the other thing? She smiled. Daria's handling the press conference now. By tonight, everyone will know the real story. I settled into the seat, watching the city scroll past. My phone buzzed one final time. A message from Emma's private number. You won. Happy now? I thought about the long nights, the shared dreams, the trust broken and remade. About Eduardo's misguided protection and Ruby's quiet betrayal. About how victory tasted different than I'd imagined. No, I typed back. Not happy, just right. Then I turned off my phone and faced forward. Ahead lay board meetings, press conferences, rebuilding what was broken. But for now, in this moment, I let myself feel the weight lift from my shoulders. Where to? Veronica asked. I smiled, thinking of all the possibilities stretching before us. Take me to my company, the real one this time. The car pulled away from the curb, leaving the past behind. Sometimes the best revenge isn't destroying your enemies. It's building something so much stronger than they ever imagined possible. And I was just getting started. The morning sun streamed through my new office windows, painting the city in gold. Below, workers were installing the company's rebranded logo on the building facade. Simple, elegant letters that represented everything we'd built from the ashes of betrayal. My phone lit up with Veronica's message. She's here. Right on time. I straightened my jacket, centering myself. The door opened and Emma walked in, no handcuffs now, but wearing defeat like an ill-fitting suit. Nice view, she said, trying for her old confidence. Better than the federal holding cell. You should know, you designed this office. I gestured to the chair across from me. Sit. She did, her movements stiff. If this is some kind of victory lap, this is a job interview. The words landed like a slap. Emma's carefully composed expression cracked. What? I slid a contract across the desk. Subsidiary company. New division. You'd report to Veronica, of course, but with considerable autonomy. You're insane, she pushed the contract away. After everything, you're still the smartest person I know. I leaned forward. And the hungriest. The question is, what are you hungry for now? Why? Her voice cracked. Why offer me anything? Because you taught me something valuable. I stood, walking to the window. Success isn't about winning. It's about building something that lasts, even if that means rebuilding with broken pieces. Poetic. Her laugh was bitter. And what does Daria think about this generous offer? Daria thinks you're a snake. I turned back, smiling. But she also thinks you're a snake who knows where all the other snakes hide. And right now, that's exactly what we need. Emma picked up the contract, reading carefully. This compensation package is less than your worth. Consider it the price of redemption. And if I refuse, then walk away. The federal charges are dropped, my gift for your cooperation. But this, I tapped the contract, this is your only chance to be part of something bigger than revenge. She was silent for a long moment, fingers tracing the paper's edge. Eduardo told me what you did, how you protected his firm, even after... Eduardo made his choices, so did you. So did I. I sat back down. Now we all get to choose again. The door opened. Veronica entered, followed by Daria. Perfect timing, as always. Well? Daria asked, her tone arctic. Has our prodigal made her decision? Emma looked at each of us. Former friend, new ally, reluctant mentor. Then she picked up the pen. One condition, she said, hovering over the signature line. I want to know how you did it. How you knew about the Cayman accounts before Eduardo told you. I smiled, nodding to Veronica. She pulled up something on her tablet showing Emma. The colour drained from her face. That's from 5 years ago. When you first started planning this. I took the tablet showing the old security footage. Or when you first realised you might need a backup plan. You knew. All this time. I knew you better than you knew yourself. I took the contract back. Just like I know what you'll do now. Because deep down, we're the same. We don't just want to win, we want to build empires. Emma's hand trembled as she signed. You're not the same person I betrayed. No, I countered her signature. I'm the person you created. After she left, Daria poured drinks. You really think she can be trusted? No. I accepted the glass, but I trust her ambition. And now she knows the cost of betrayal. Speaking of costs, Veronica pulled up another document. The merger paperwork is ready. Once you sign, everything changes. I looked out at the city, my city now in many ways. Somewhere out there, Eduardo was rebuilding his life. Ruby was starting over with a smaller firm. Greta was facing her own demons. Angela, Daria's voice carried a rare note of concern. Are you sure about this? I thought about that day in the cafe when everything started unraveling, about the woman I'd been then, trusting, vulnerable, blind, about the woman I was now. I'm sure. I signed the merger documents with a flourish. Sometimes you have to break something completely to build it back stronger. Veronica raised her glass. To new beginnings? No. I smiled, watching my signature dry. To better endings. And the price we pay to write them ourselves. The morning sun caught the edge of my wedding ring, still on my desk where I'd left it. I picked it up, finally ready to let go of the last piece of who I used to be. Some things you build, some things you break, and some things you simply release, knowing that true power isn't in what you hold on to, it's in what you choose to set free.